Alright, welcome back everybody. This is PapaSean, and we are about to make our major offensive in Stellaris against the Stellaris Devourer. Alright, so if you're curious what the Stellaris Devourer is, you can go to the the curators and ask them about the mysteries of the universe. And so you can say, tell us about the Stellaris Devourer. Stellaris Devourer is a new parasite on the galactic hunting ground. Not unlike your empire in many ways, it was born of fear and nuclear fusion. It roams the galaxy, submerging itself into stars, feasting on them from within, and it certainly does not like being disturbed. Alright, so it eats stars, is what it does. And so it's eating this star right here in the Nunas system. And I'm curious what it's going to take to bring this guy down. So let's take a look at him. He's just cozying up next to the sun, and he's going to start devouring this bugger, and then everything in here is going to turn into a frosted barren wasteland. So we can't have that. Our ships are coming in 50 seconds here. So each day is roughly a second. We've got about 45 remaining, and in our fleet we have 63 battleships. We've got another 5 cruisers of the Chimera class, 7 ogres, and got another 35 Hydra cruisers coming in. We also have 48 destroyers and 172 corvettes. So that kind of shows you the power of corvettes there and their evasion. I've had these corvettes since the beginning of the game, and so I've gone from corvettes all the way up to battleships, and these corvettes have not died, and they've been in almost every engagement of the game. So pretty powerful. Now, corvettes on their own, without the backbone of cruisers, destroyers, and battleships, they will eventually get picked off, especially against missile fleets. But if you've got plenty of point system defense, they will shoot down the missiles, and your corvettes can evade the kinetic and lasers. So as you see, the wormhole's opening up. We're nearly entering into the same star system as the Stellaris Devourer. And here we go. We've got an 86.2k fleet. They found their target, and they're locking in on the Stellaris Devourer. And even at this great distance, they're able to engage. And the reason they're able to engage is not because of my weapon systems, but because of the Stellaris Devourer. Look at this guy. He is blasting that cruiser to pieces. So he's doing a single target attack, it looks like. But he's taking off a fifth of their health every hit, and he fires pretty fast. It looks like there's some kind of slower moving. It's almost like a missile, a little star. Okay, it just completely wiped out a battleship. So he's got some rapid fire that he's shooting out, but then there's also some slower moving. These slower moving buggers, they appear to simply wipe out the enemy, or wipe out a battleship class. Alright, so let's get in here and see. We are starting to fire on the Devourer. You can see that we've done no damage to him whatsoever yet. He's going angry, you're still a Devourer. Okay, I can see a slight sliver of red on that circle of green as we bring our guns to bear. All our missiles opening up now.
Incoming transmission.
Alright, so he has a very high evasion ratio. You can see that 30% have been evaded, but he has not evaded any of the missiles, so the missiles are actually tearing him up pretty nicely. Very high evasion. We're closing in. We went from 83, 85k down to about 82k now. See, our battleships are all clustered up here in the back line, firing their long-range weapons. Oh my goodness, what was that? We just lost another battleship. He cut it in half down the middle. Blasted it with some kind of pulsed energy. Alright, try to zoom in. We're down to 80k. You can see we're making some good headway now on this guy. He's opening himself up. Looks like he's getting pushed back. Stuff's going in, one side coming out the back. we've got this guy down to only a third of his health now. So he's got quite a bit of armor, and he's done 44,000 energy damage, so you're going to want to be able to get lots of shields. Fortunately, our ships had lots of shields. And he is toast. We have cooked ourselves a Stellar Devourer. Alright, so the Stellar Devourer has been vanquished. Its remains curled up and evaporated, leaving only its digestive system and the stellar matter it contains. Our science team has urged us to examine the remains. Maybe there is some profound knowledge to be had from understanding its digestive system. We can make it a trophy and get 500 influence, or we can study the corpse. Well, we don't really need the influence. I mean, sure, we got 508, that'll cap us out at 500, but let's go ahead and study the corpse instead.
Situation log updated.
Alright, so we need a scientist. Wow. We'll send over a scientist to take a look. Do we have any science ships in the vicinity? No, that is not. So let's go ahead and create a science ship here. That way we'll be able to zip it over there in just a moment. And then we can take a look at our technology. We have a 5-star scientist here. So why don't we go ahead and recruit a new scientist. And we'll use the 5-star scientist to man our science ship. And this is on Iron Man mode. You can see that we're back to 83k, so I think we lost about 5 to 10k worth of ships in our fleet. But we were able to repopulate that just with our constant stream of battleships being redeveloped here. Alright, that science ship should be just about ready. Come on out. 15 days. Bagged ourselves a Devourer, and I think our fleet was around a 50k when I asked the curators whether we could have a good chance of success. And so if you pay the curators money, they'll give you information, and money's in the form usually of energy credits. So once you kind of get a fleet together that you feel is strong enough, you ask the curators and they'll tell you if you have a good chance of success or not. But it does help to build the right things to fight it, and I just happened to get lucky. I didn't know it was going to do primarily energy damage, so the shields help out quite a bit there. Got our science ship. We are throwing our scientist in here, and we are sending him over.
Research complete.
For the research project and system. Now I chose a level 5, but it only says that we need a scientist here, one scientist in a science ship. So it does not appear that you require a level 5. I just thought, give it the good stuff. Alright, so we can send our fleet. Oh, we don't actually even need repairs. Looks like all the ships that were destroyed or damaged were utterly destroyed. It does quite a bit of damage. So I'm not even certain whether the shields and armor help much when it's going to eradicate the ship immediately. If it was going to be a bit stronger, I would think that they probably should do AoE damage instead of direct fire damage, because if you've got quite a few ships, they can only kill one at a time. So again, against the Stellaris Devourer, you might send lots and lots and lots of corvettes, destroyers, and cruisers. If you're just going to go at it with a few battleships, you're going to be in trouble. But fortunately, I had a good mix in my fleet, and that science ship should be arriving momentarily. Looks like it's taking a little bit of time to get there. I bet you it has to do with these other battleships that are moving around. Reinforcing the fleet, using up the wormholes. Alright, so we are jumping out right now. And he's on his last trek.
Incoming transmission.
With 15 days remaining until he arrives. So let's see what that Stellar Devourer corpse gives us. Throw a little more research up on the board. Alright, so our science ship has reached. We're going to go ahead and kick up the speed a little bit here. Alright, so our science ship nearly arriving at the Devourer's corpse.
Incoming transmission.
Looks like they should get some health insurance before getting any closer. Okay, so they're researching it from this distance, probably wise. Oh, what's this? Recently been forced to scrap the most of our technical. Okay. Alright, so that was a little side quest going on there with the entertaining troop. We're at 73%, 77, 80, so we're almost done here researching the Devourer. Hope it's a pretty cool tech.
Special project complete.
Alright, Stellar Devourer. Studies of the Stellar Devourer's shining remains have left our scientists perplexed and amazed. The star-feasting being is itself a miniature fusion furnace, harvesting solar material to synthesize an energy source of its own. Since the body still contains significant amounts of solar matter from the star of the Nunas system, the one it last fed them from, it could be possible to extract the energy and reinvigorate the star. Harvesting the corpse's heat for our own ends could satisfy our energy needs in the short term, but would doom the system to an eternal ice age. Okay, well, we can doom Nunas, or we can reignite the star. This is going to issue back from whence it came, sending the energy back, or we can harvest the body's energy and get, ooh, not bad, 2,000 energy, 1,000 minerals, and 80 influence gain. Okay, now let's just consider that for a moment. We already maxed out in energy, and energy is quite common for us. The minerals is only 1,000. It costs 1,200 for a battleship, and I'm sure I lost more than one. So the payout is 80 influence, 1,000 minerals, and 2,000 energy. It's a net negative. So let's go ahead with the ignite the star, because that's cool for the cool factor.
Situation log updated.
But if you're trying to get paid by taking down the Devourer, it's a it's a total loss. Alright, so we have a new situation log, and this is for back from whence it came. We need to send that science ship over to the star and research the project. So we'll kick up the speed again here to fast. And while that's going, I'm just going to go ahead over to the trader group and take some of my excess power and trade it for minerals. Get the 1,000 minerals for every 2,000 power, and I'm getting 621 a month, so kind of went overboard on that. We're capped out on minerals at 27k. Throwing a few more battleships on the block. Alright, science ship is 65% through its scan of the sun. Looks like another faction's over here studying Nunas. We're at 90%. Our fleet stands transmission. And here we go.
Special project complete.
The project has paid off, but at a cost. Submerging the Stellar Devourer into Nunas' star has caused the solar furnace to shine a bit brighter, but also to spew out solar flares that engulf the ISS. Show the agile. Oh my goodness, I lost my level 5 scientist. So the scientist and his crew were burned up in a roaring inferno. There was no survivors. The planets in the system are heating up, reaching temperatures levels closer to their original form. Alright, so the ISS Jilkug was destroyed. Changes the planet classes of all planets within the Nunas system. And Nunas 2 becomes a tundra planet and gains the following resources: 10 energy and 15 minerals. Wow, a little bit of explosion there. Oh, that really stinks. So I'm glad I didn't have my fleet standing by at the star. They might have been engulfed as well. But we do have a couple planets here that are now habitable. and they have not yet been surveyed. I don't have a science ship here anymore, but now we can habitate Nunos.
Colony established.
There would have been 2 planets that would have been, 3 planets actually, that would have been uninhabitable. They look to be relatively small, a 9, a 14, and ooh, this one's 28, so Nunos 4, that's the big one. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed as we took on the Stellar Devourer of stars with our fleet. And again, make sure you have lots and lots of different ships, corvettes and destroyers to soak up damage, since it'll have to single fire target, and then battleships to lay out the heat with I like to use them as carriers myself, so you get additional damage coming in, and they might also target the little fighters.
Colony established. Colony
Take care and
established.
enjoy your games in Stellaris.